One of my main goals with this show is to help you along with your writing endeavors and gain a little more confidence along the way. So I love to bring in published writers to help speed you through the process. The show stops in Brazil for the first time to interview someone whose book will help improve your confidence undoubtedly. Welcome back to Writing with Authors. I am your host, Vincent A. Lancy. Today's guest is the author of Simple Mechanics of Confidence, a playful, practical guide to understanding where real confidence comes from and how to create it quickly. I know no matter what business you're involved in, confidence is key. And this book is called Simple Mechanics of Confidence because it does just that. Simple. It takes you on a simple, fact-based, logical journey where the end result is that it's impossible to not see your inherent lovability. And because our guest was a stand-up comedian for 15 years, I found out the book is fun and playful as well. So get ready to level up your confidence and meet our first guest in Brazil, Daniel Packard. Daniel, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure. And in these crazy times, I just want to be clear that the backdrop looks fake, but it's real. I don't want you to think I'm one of the fake drop people. But if you have a fake backdrop, I'm not judging. I'm just saying this bad boy, it's real. I moved to Brazil. Well, every year or so I moved to a different country. So COVID style, I was in Mexico, and then I wanted to learn to surf. And I'm doing capoeira. You know that martial art that people do? Have you ever seen it out in the park? It's called capoeira. So I'm learning capoeira on the beach in Brazil with a real backdrop. And I just want to say, because this is teleconference and you never know, I am wearing pants. So you're welcome.
Well, thank you for that mini intro. Why don't you share with our audience a little more about you, maybe what led you up to Brazil before we get into book talk?
Well, as I'm going to talk about the book is based in this process that I developed that would solve insecurity. But what I didn't know about the process when I developed it for insecurity. But then all of a sudden I noticed I was less attached. I was more free. And so one of the results is, I'm just I live a very free life. So everything I own fits in one bag. I got high self-esteem. I go where it feels good. And so that's partly why I'm in Brazil. I didn't read a book on emotional or personal financial freedom, but this process kind of goes to the root of everything. So when I did the process for insecurity, all these other symptoms started aligning, like living where I want to live and having an online business and just being really free on a lot of levels.
Well, I think that really resonates exactly with what your book is. Confidence. You found the confidence to put those insecurities in your past. So that's probably what led you to creating this book. Let's hear more about it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I started off just 17, 18. Not only was I insecure, but I had pimples. And I didn't just think I was ugly. I thought I was unlovably ugly, which is like a whole other level of ugly. And I just thought, I'm just going to die alone with cats. I just felt that's how it felt. And then I got to college and, there's all these cute girls and I'm living in the dorms and I can't even talk to them. I'm just frozen. And it was so tormenting. If I ever meet God, I'm just going to ask him, what's the deal with pimples? Like, why? I kind of get war, but why pimples? And at the age when boys are the most insecure, now we have pimples and I'm supposed to ask the girl out. And I was like a diabetic in a candy shop. I couldn't do anything. And I was also depressed, anxious, everything. And I figured, well, that's just my life. And then there was this kid, Darren, who had pimples, but his pimples were worse than mine. And I figured, well, if I'm going to die alone with cats, this dude is definitely going to die alone with cats. But I saw Darren a month into college and he was holding hands with this girl named Pippa, who in my opinion was the coolest, funniest girl there was. And I was like, what's going on? Is Pippa an escort? Like, I couldn't compute how a pimply guy got the cool girl. And I asked Darren, I said, like, Darren, how'd you do this? And he just looks at me and just looks me right in the eyes. And he just says, I just know I'm a 10 out of 10. And it's sort of, I went, whoa. And I'm not gay, but that was just attractive. But then I thought, no, there's no way he could think he's a 10 out of 10 because he's got pimples. And I said, Darren, like, I thought he was faking it. I thought he was faking confidence. And I said, Darren, like, where did you learn? Where did you learn you were a 10 out of 10? Thinking he's the crazy one. And he looks at me and he says, Daniel, where did you learn you weren't a 10 out of 10? And I kind of, holy my whole little matrix started to melt for two reasons. One is this 10 out of 10 thing. He was showing me it was a learned behavior and that I could unlearn it. But it was also that one thing affected everything because he wasn't anxious. I was. Everybody liked him. People didn't like me. He was magnetic. All the things I wanted, he had and I didn't have, all because of this 10 out of 10 thing. And so the mechanical engineer in me said, I want to figure out what the hell is this 10 out of 10 thing and how do I do it? And while everybody wants to feel like a 10 out of 10, have confidence, have self-love, I realized it's not that simple. And I looked around and I read all these books on confidence and knowing your true worth, and they had great titles. And I went to therapy, but nothing really worked. Nothing really solved it. It gave me temporary tricks to boost my confidence in the moment, but I wanted to connect to my spirit animal, Darren, and I wanted to solve it. And so the mechanical engineer in me put away the books, and I sort of reverse engineered a process where the end result would be having deep Darren confidence. And then I reverse engineered a process that if you work the steps at the end in a few weeks, you have this deep confidence. And so when I saw that and I saw the effects it had on my life, my anxiety went down, my confidence went up, money went up, relationships went up. I said, I have to get this to the world because the world is suffering with the self-doubt and the insecurity, and they don't have a solvable approach. So that's what the book was meant to help people with, to really solve their insecurity and self-doubt so they can be happier.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your vulnerable moments because that's really how we truly help others. You saw the value in it for yourself, so why not put it out into the world? I saw the reviews. You're getting great feedback. So we learned why you became a published author. We learned all about the book. But what advice can you give for people who are on this writing journey, maybe that have writer's block, can't think outside the box, or just don't know how to expand their story?
Well, I was thinking about this. It's an excellent question, especially for the authors. And I'm going to answer it through the most value that I know, which is the process that I teach, because I think I got something special and I want people to know about it. And I had one of my clients 2 months ago was an NFL athlete, and he wanted to write a book. And he had all these ideas. He had his story. And this guy has an incredible work ethic. He had so many talents, so many skills. He had the story, everything. And he's blocked. He can't write it. And he comes to me and he says, I want to write my book. Can you help me? And I said, that's what I do. I solve these things. And so these are the two things that I shared with him that helped him write the book. And so I want to share it with your authors. The first is more tactical. The other is going deeper. So the first is that oftentimes when we write a book, we get in front of the keyboard and we start typing, and typing is not a natural way to express. Your book is about you and you singing your unique song. And when we get in front of a keyboard, we tighten up. That's why, when you want to tell someone you love them, you don't stand next to them and type, I love you. You look them in the eye and you express. So what I invite all authors to do, and this is what I did when I was working on my one-man show on Broadway, is I would just go and I would talk. And I would just hit record and record. Or I would go to a friend and I would share what I want to share. And it would 99%, it would come out perfectly. A lot of it, because I'm not self-editing, and I would record the audio and then I would have it transcribed, take that transcription. That's the beginning of your book. And then you go in and edit. So that's part number one. Don't try and type in front of a keyboard. It tightens you up. It'll create self-doubt and you lose your unique essence and vibration, which is your highest value you can bring to the world. So that's part number one. But the other was to look at all these symptoms around writing. You'll hear writer's block, you'll hear procrastination. And in my model, my process, those are all symptoms. You don't have writer's block. It's not like you have it. What is, there's something deeper that's showing up in this symptom, which you call a block. But you don't walk up to a child and say, oh, you have, artist block. Children don't have blocks. So why? Because deeper down, they are more free. So what I worked with this client was I showed him that he didn't have writer's block and he wasn't a procrastinator and he wasn't lazy. I showed him that underneath it was a fear, and the fear was showing up as the block. And I showed him that underneath that fear is that fear of rejection. And then underneath that fear of rejection is this belief that we're not good enough. And that will block you for two reasons. If you feel not good enough, you'll have this fear of rejection. Because if you write your book and nobody likes it, you'll feel not good enough, which will scare the crap out of you. But secondly, if you feel not good enough, then you think that what's in you, your unique gift as an author, isn't valuable. But it is valuable. It's the most valuable thing you have, which is your unique song that somebody that matches you wants to hear. So if you feel not good enough, you will have writer's block and you will procrastinate. Now, on the one hand, this is kind of bad news because he was like, well, feeling not good enough, that's not good. But no, because the process I developed solved the not good enough in about 4 weeks. So then he began to value his unique song. The fear of rejection went down. The writer's block lifted. And 4 weeks later, he had the draft for his book done. And now the book is published. Now he's speaking and going on tour, all because the process solved it instead of dealing with the symptoms. So transcribe and also go to the root cause so that your writer's block lifts and you know the value of what's in you.
You mentioned the word twice there, the value. Know the value in yourself, believe in yourself, and know the value you're putting out into the world. You have something good like Daniel does. It's not easy to share it, but please do share it because of all the value you can add to other people's lives. He just shared a story and firsthand testimonial of how this book paid major dividends for someone with an already incredible work ethic. But Daniel, please share your contact info with our audience.
So the people that I work with are people that have something that's holding them back, whether it's self-doubt, writer's block, whatever you call it, and you want to solve it. You've heard me say this word over and over again because it's kind of a remarkable claim. So if you have something that's keeping you from writing the book or promoting the book or even expressing yourself in life and you want to solve it, that's who I work with. So reach out to me, and on the call, I'm going to apply the process. You're going to learn the process that I developed, and you will feel that thing, that doubt, that insecurity, that not enoughness dissolving out of your system because the process works very quickly. In about 4 weeks, your self-doubt, your block will be gone forever. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me at the website, danielpackard.com, or go to danielpackard.com/call. We'll have a 20-minute call. I'll apply the process to you, and you will feel that writer's block beginning to leave you alone and never come back. And you will really deeply appreciate your unique value.
Well, thank you for sharing it. I had to get in touch with you. And also, Daniel, I want to thank you for your time for coming on this show. We're making it work. He's in Brazil. I'm here in Tampa, Florida, but we made it work. He shared all about simple mechanics of confidence. It seems like something that can help us thrive. If you have more questions, be sure to reach out. But until then, we will see you all on the next episode of Writing with Authors.